Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back in with another video tonight. It's gonna be some pretty wild randomness. Gonna be reviewing today a couple band cards. I'm gonna go over a deck core, and it's gonna be a lot of good stuff. So starting things off, we're gonna talk about Soul Charge. My personal favorite print is gonna be the Duelist Saga Ultra Rare. A couple others. Another ultra rare here from Dragons of Legend and a super, then three other sets of the common. Let's go ahead really quick and take a look at the Dusa Ultra Rare. In my opinion, these are the best rarity. Again, Duelist Saga on its own merit alone is awesome because it has this nice, very unique ultra rare hollow foiling that no other set in the TCG has had this released yet. So it's pretty great. This is currently a banned card, of course. Really amazing banned card, amazing artwork. And it is relatively cheap right now. There's not too many stacks. As you can see, the first page is all one sets, and then there's only 4 pages left of this. But it's only about $1, so maybe you guys can use it as an add-on to one of your cards, whatever it may be. But I think that this definitely has potential to come off the ban list eventually. I don't know if it's going to be this upcoming June ban list, but it's an amazing card, and it's gonna come up eventually. So just wanted to showcase that really quick. Next is going to be Ultimate Offering. So we got a really cool Champion Pack for Super Rare. Those are like around like 30, 40. They're pretty expensive right now. Not too terribly expensive, but I want to talk more so about the Dual Terminal 3 rares. Of course, you got a plethora of commons here. Several of the commons, not really any significance. You guys can go check out Super Rares if you want. They're relatively pretty expensive. I think I have actually 1 or 2 copies of the Super Rares. I think I bought them for around 15 or 20 several years ago. But I also have many copies of the Dual Terminal 3 Rare, and I personally think for its price value, this is definitely the best way to go for this card. Of course, this is another banned card, but my saying is everything is going to come off the list eventually. It all just is a matter if it gets an errata or not. And we got about 2 pages left of this. Not really a lot of stacks. There's a couple 2-ofs here. And it's going to start out around $2 if you want to factor in shipping, and then slowly kind of trickles up after that. So this is going to be a little bit more harder to get, as getting relatively chewed up on the market. Not really a lot of stacks, but you guys can check out that second page if you want. Amazing artwork. If you guys didn't know, this is actually a censored artwork. The OCG Japan original artwork is like phenomenal. It's really, really great. So you guys should definitely check it out sometime. Malay of Trees is going to be next. So we got the 2014 Megatins and the original print Secret Rare starting from Shadows and Specters. This is a really cheap card. It's just a generic, amazing rank 3 for plants. It's got the Send effect, and then it's also got built-in Monster Reborn. It's pretty great, really cool artwork. Again, only 2 versions of this, both Secret Rare. And I think this is a really underrated card. People have kind of highlighted this a little bit. It's kind of come more to note because it has been increasing in price. You can see there's plenty on the market. 5 pages left. 5 pages approximately. It's roughly around 3 bones if you want to factor in shipping. Not too many stacks here. There's a 3 stack here for almost about 3, and kind of trickles up after that. But this is just a really good card, and for the longest time, no one ever talked about this card. I actually discovered this card a couple years back, and I have several of the original print first editions myself, and it's just, plants are fun. Plants just got a really big player base. There's a lot of different blends that you can do with plants, and this is just a really great card just for plants in general. Evil Swarm Exciton Knight is going to be next. So this is fully unlocked with the ban list. You can run 3 copies of this card. This is one of my all-time favorite rank 4 XYZ monsters. It's insane how cheap this card is for what it is, and like no one's playing this card. It's insane. Most of my builds, if I'm running a deck that utilizes the extra deck, I usually reserve 2 copies or 2 spaces for 2 copies of Exciton Knight because this is such a game changer. It's kind of like an alternative Black Rose, I guess you could say, if I'm so bold to say. But let's go ahead and take a look. So, of course, 3 versions. There's the Ultra Rose and the Ultras and the 2 Secret Rare prints. Let's take a look at the original. I think if I'm not mistaken, these are going for like around 10 bones. The original print, first editions, dawning from Legacy of the Valiant. Pretty cool set. Unlimiteds are going to be around 8, and then first editions, let's see if we can dig them out. There's only 3 pages left of this First editions, yep, is still going to be like around 10, 11. That kind of trickles up after that. Here's a 6 stack, so that's pretty nice. These are probably going to go pretty quickly. 10 first, 6 stack. And then, there's 3 pages left of this. So the original prints are about 10, so let's kind of test my rule of thumb. Let's see if there's a big variation between the original prints and the Megatin reprints. Again, I have no shame playing or investing in Megatin reprints as long as the price variation is significant enough where you can get these ones a lot cheaper. These just look, and in my personal opinion, the two, if you compare them together, I personally like the Megatin reprint. The Secret Rares are different. The Secret Rare foiling is a little bit more predominant in the 2014 Megatin Secret Rare. I don't know why. It's a little bit more crisp in the original one, the Legacy of the Valiant, but this one is just like a little bit more predominant. It's more foiling, it's more flashy. So these are 5. So these are pretty much 5 all across the board. So they're half price. This is still very, very incredible. There's a little bit more on the market here. There was 3 pages for the original, 5 pages for the reprint. So, because this is such a good card, and I really don't know why why more people aren't playing this. Like, I really am just an avid fan of this card. It's got fantastic artwork. Its artwork always reminds me of Insector's. I really, really love Insector's artwork. It kind of reminds me of that. So 10 for the original, 5 for the reprint. It's kind of up to you guys, whatever you want to do. I personally have both copies, several copies of both, more so the original print. This card used to even be cheaper than 10. I still think 10 for original print first edition is just like a steal. This is one of the all-time, like, in my opinion, one of the most powerful level rank 4 XYZs. Of course, we have the Ultra Rare as well. We can dip into that really quick from Battles of Legend. I also invested relatively heavily in this set. This was a transition set. We got the updated foiling with the attribute area and the Secret Rare foiling in the name for Secret Rares, obviously, and the level stars got foiled out. Really, really cool. Good time history there for you guys. And the Ultra is like 2 bones. It's just really not anything of much significance. So still need to cook on the Ultra Rares. All right. So yesterday I talked about the starter decks Kaiba and Yugi Evolution, and I slightly hinted at the reloaded structure decks, which I'm actually going to get into over in a little bit here. So everyone knows that Starter Deck Kaiba and Starter Deck Yugi Generation 1 is just like ungodly expensive for the Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, all that. But remember, also part of Generation 1, the second wave, was Starter Deck Joey and Starter Deck Kaiba. Now, these cards are nowhere near as collector's value and value, or as high in value as Blue Eyes and Dark Magician, but Starter Deck Joey Ultra Rare first editions exclusively. Again, I'm just always, as always, I put huge emphasis. If you're going for collector's value, you always got to go first edition. And these are going for a pretty great price point now. I've been picking these up over the years because I knew that this was going to follow suit with Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. Again, I don't think it's ever going to get anywhere as near, but it's going to get pretty up there. No first editions on the first page, only 5 on the market here. Prices are continuing to jump up all the way up to 15, and we still don't even see a first edition on the 3rd page. Moving on to the 4th page. 4th page dawns our first edition at 21, which is a 1 of. And then it goes to 31, which is a 1 of, and then 36, 7, and then 38. So it's climbing in value, and we're already at the second to last page, and these are 1 stacks. So there's really not that many on the market, at least on this platform. Maybe you guys can find some others somewhere else. But this is increasing in value and relatively rapidly because it's starting to get chewed up on the market. People have noticed this card. I've been talking about this card for probably at least a year now. I don't review it too often because I want to try to keep my content diverse as I can, show you guys some new fresh stuff. But I'm a big fan of this. Even I would say to say the Scapegoat and Penguin Soldier too. Because Penguin Soldier, well, I guess I got a dual terminal reprint and a couple other comments. But anyway, these are just ancient cards. Again, these structure decks I think came out in like 2002, so they're like 18 plus years old. Really, really old, definitely collector's value. Obviously, the Red Eyes being, a huge anime card, and being the ultra rare with the 2 supers is always going to be the most out of this set specifically. But I would definitely take a look at the first edition prints of Scapegoat and Penguin Soldier, specifically first edition. All these always first edition, and at least lightly played or better, lightly played near mint. And I really don't think you'll be disappointed in that. Next is going to be Starter Deck Pegasus. Again, we have Graceful Charity and Relinquish. I wouldn't really worry too much about Griffin Wing. Everyone is anticipating Harpy's Feather Duster to come back, as me as well. I'm definitely on the train of fans that is hoping that Harpy Feather Duster finally will be donned off the list in this June ban list. We'll see what happens. No worries if it's not. It's definitely going to come eventually. But I am thinking optimistically for this June ban list 2020. Graceful Charity, again, just an amazing, extremely banned card. One of the most powerful, I think it's the most powerful draw card in the entire game. People say Pot of Greed is the best, but there's a lot of decks now where you get effects that you can pop out by pitching to the grave, and you draw 3 with Graceful Charity. So this, in my opinion, is better than Pot of Greed, and the artwork is just fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, I love myself some Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is great, but just Graceful Charity. And Graceful Charity goes in for the kill for this guy's heart, because it's pretty great. Unlimited is really nothing not anything really significant to mention. 5 pages on the market. Again, this is another card where there would just be stacks and stacks and stacks of first editions, and it's just slowly starting to go away. First edition we see here on the 3rd page is going to be about roughly around 5 bones if you factor in shipping. And then it goes to about 4, 5, and then it goes for about 5 plus. And again, these are like single stacks, and then there's only 5 pages left, so it's completely up to you. Again, this is the original Generation 1 print. Like, this didn't even, if I'm not mistaken, really quick, I want to review, because I don't even think Graceful Charity was printed in any core set. It was all just obscure sets like the Structure Deck. And there was a Hobby League Parallel Ultra, Dark Legends, Legendary Collections. So there's actually several different prints. I forgot how many prints there are. But you can see Dark Beginnings reprint set, Battle Pack, War of the Craps. Really didn't like that set at all, but it's not a core set. More Crap Pack, the original OGs. More Crap Packs, Legendary Collections 3 is an amazing set. Check it out. This is a secret rare too. So there's my personal favorite is the OG super rare first editions, because they're the very first time this card hit the game was Starter Deck Pegasus, and it's just great and all super rare original glory. The Hobby League 4 Ultra Parallel Ultras look really great too. They're pretty pricey now. Wouldn't really worry about the Dark Legends. They're holding a pretty good price point too, though. Very surprised at the Dark Legend ones, maybe because they just were not as manufactured as the Starter Pegasus, because this was manufactured like crazy back in the day. The Secret Rares first editions are really nice too, which are going for a pretty good price point. So, but still, to true merit on its own, I would always follow through with the original first edition supers. But there's a lot of cool prints that you guys can go after there. Next is going to be Relinquish. So now remember, Relinquish, and the same thing with Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes, they all had the same prints in the original core sets, Legend of Blue Eyes, White Dragon, and for Relinquish, Magic Ruler. But regardless of the fact, these starter decks are just as old as those original core sets. And they're never going to be quite as valuable as the, LOB and MRL prints, but they are still very much collector's cards, and the price points reflect. And as time goes on, these are getting harder to get. These cards are getting damaged. They got lost. They're in someone's grandma's attic, in people's basements. They're being sold at Goodwill or garage sales or wherever. And there's just so many of these that are just not being put on the market, and they're kind of just lost or gone or hidden. And now is the time. Now is the time. I'm telling you guys want to get these now. I've been talking about this more particularly because this is the cheapest one out of all the starter deck ultras. Relinquish has always been the cheapest one, and no one has cared about this card. No one has talked about this card, and that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm not I'm not sure. I'm sure there's got to be other people thinking about this, because I mean the price, the market shows. I'm already on the 3rd page. There's no first editions. First edition comes on the 4th page, and it's still cheap. It's like $2 if you factor in shipping. It's a 1 stack, so there's a good pickup right there for you guys. Moving on to the 5th page, we get our second first edition for about 2 bones. It's another 1 stack. And we'll move on to the 6th page, and we'll get one for about roughly 3. If you factor in shipping, a little under 3. And then we'll move to 7. And you guys get the point. So there's really there's little tiny pockets of the first editions left. I don't know where else you guys are shopping. Here's another one right here for about, what, 3, 4. So yeah, you guys can check eBay. You can check whatever other resources you guys have. I'm not really sure. I mostly stick to TCG Player and eBay myself. But again, this is a collector's card. It's getting chewed up on the market, and I really think that it's going to be worth some great value. So I would definitely start investing. Actually, you guys should have already been investing, but I get it if you didn't seep the knowledge until now, and now you have it. You've heard it with your own ears. You guys need to go out and start ripping it up on the market, because I promise you it's going to pay off in the end. So how I break this down was yesterday, again, I was talking about Kaiba Yugi Evolution, and I consider that like Gen 2, because the Kaiba Yugi starter decks, and again, the key emphasis on the wordplay is starter deck, not structure deck. And it's kind of, I break it down to, Gen 1, original, OG 2002 starter decks, and then Gen 2, Yugi Kaiba Evolution, and then Gen 3, Yugi Kaiba Reloaded. And the only cards I think are going to hold any value on their own merit is going to be the Dark Magician and the Blue Eyes from the Reloaded sets, specifically the first editions. Now, granted, I really am not a fan of these artworks of Blue Eyes, and the Blue Eyes looks better than the Dark Magician. I'm not going to say. This is just total crap. I really don't like the artwork a lot at all for the Dark Magician. The Blue Eyes looks okay. There's definitely better versions they could have chose, but they chose what they chose. The thing about these is, 1, they're really old, and 2, they're ultimate rares. To this day, I know now OCG has several different prints of ultimate rares, or at least one of each, I know, of Blue Eyes and Dark Magician ultimate rare. But we don't have. This is it. This is all Konami has given us. Now, granted, yes, these are starter decks. These were mass-produced like years ago when they were produced. I don't even remember. I don't recall the year that the Reloaded starter decks, were manufactured and put on the market. But these are the only prints in Ultimate Rare rarity that we have here in the TCG. So again, Unlimited is not really holding anything of significance in my personal opinion. Only 5 pages here for Dark Magician. And the first edition is going to be at the bottom of page 2 for about 910. It's a one of. Moving on to page 3, there's one again for 910 here. It's another one of, and then 10 here. It's a one of, and a 10. So it's about 910 is about the average price point what he's going for. Now you see there's not really a lot of stacks. Again, only 5 pages. This card used to be $5. I remember when I noticed this and I started investing in Ultimate Rare Dark Magician Blue Eyes, they were around $4 or $5. 4 first editions, lightly played at worst, lightly played to near mint, first edition, and I was picking up all day long. And now they're like around 10. So in just a year and a half, they've already doubled in price point. You're gonna say, okay, well, $5, $6, what is it? That's not really anything. That's not a lot of money at all. Well, yeah, it's not. But if it's kind of that saying, you have to have a dollar to make a dollar or whatever. But if you guys invested heavily in these and got like 10, 20, 30 copies of these, that's 10, 20, 30 x, $5 each profit that you're plussing. And of course, you got to factor in, your expenses. If you sell on TCG Player, you're taking your fees. You got to take in your costs of shipping and tracking with USPS or whatever the service you guys use. So, but it gets up there, and it's good money, and there's money to be made. And I definitely think that this is a card where there's money to be made. First edition of Blue Eyes right here for lightly played is going to be around 8. It's a one of. And then again, it goes to 8+. It's a one of. Only 4 pages for Blue Eyes. and then it goes to almost about 11 after that, and then it kind of trickles up after that. Only 4 pages again. So we have seen obscene exponential growth in almost like all of the big Blue Eyes and Dark Magician cards. I mean, we got the LOB original Ultra Rare First Editions. We have the original Gen 1 Starter Decks Ultras First Editions. We have the DDS Prismatic Secret Rares. For Blue Eyes, we have the Ghost Gold from Haunted Mind series. And these cards, again, like, they're huge. There's just like a galactic amount of history, and popular with the anime, and it's these are like the superstars of Generation Yu-Gi-Oh, and I could talk about this all day until I'm blue in the face, but you guys need to get on these cards. It's a real thing. Moving on, Solemn Judgment. So this came to 3. I want to say the last ban list, or maybe the list before, I can't remember. Relatively recently, it came to 3. And this card is just amazing. This is kind of just like the stop, negate, / everything kind of trap card. Amazing artwork. Of course, we got the ultimate rare from OTS 12. It's actually increased in value. It's pretty great. It's gorgeous. Got the Ghost Golds, which have actually been calming down a little bit. These are actually my personal personal favorite. Haunted Mind series was the only set in the TCG to give us a ghost rare of magics and traps. Before that, it's only been monsters. So it was Mystical Space Typhoon and Solemn Judgment were the 2 cards that they selected for the set to get the ghost rare treatment, which makes them special on their own merit alone. And right here, I'm surprised it's still here. Maybe just because this person only has 3 sales, but then again, I mean, everyone starts out somewhere. So I mean, people crack down, people bust up on new sellers, but I mean, everyone starts somewhere. So you have to build a reputation eventually. So this is very cheap. It's about 4. It's about 7. This $7 and it's near mint too. $7 compared to the next step, which is 25. This is looking pretty good. I would probably get this myself if I personally didn't have multiple copies. When I was in Japan, I invested very, very heavily into this. I have several copies of this Ghost Gold, and I think they're personally going to go up. I think they're not done. I think 25 bones is just the beginning point. You can see here it starts to trickle up after that. Only 2 pages on the market. And again, Gold Series Haunted Mind did something that Konami had never done before for us here in TCG by introducing that Ghost Gold. These are still very much ghost cards, and they're just really great. So we got, of course, the Ultimate Rare, the Ghost Gold, which are both fantastic choices. There's also a Secret Rare print, which is really nice too, which I believe is from, I want to say, either Legendary Collections 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, there's the OG Generation 1, Malrader's Ultras First Editions. Those are going to be really expensive because they're just ancient OG style. And then, yeah, so Legendary Collection 3 and 4. So these sets ran parallel. They reprinted a lot of the same cards and the same rarities, kind of to do a double stack. A lot of players to get the cards, which was pretty nice. I love both these sets. Please check them out. These have just great cards and great rarities. I say it all the time. 2009, 2008 actually had good, nice quality gold rares. This is pretty nice too. So all across the board, you can just see it's just great value, like all across the board. But personally, my favorites would be the Secret Rares. The Gold Series 2008 is pretty cool too. I would say the Lost Art promotion, but I just I really wish that I don't know. I'm just so picky about ultra rares. I'm kind of bipolar when it comes to ultra rares. OG first edition Malraiders, but that's like really expensive, as well as the ultra rares. If that 7 of for that ghost rare would honestly be the ideal pickup in my personal opinion right now. Next is going to be Mangia the 10,000 Hands. So this is an amazing. This is like the to-go-to ritual card. It's very, very diverse. Great stats. Level 4 Fairy Light. There's got a DT version here from DT6. And then we got Hidden Summoner Super Rare and the Secret Forces Super Rare. I would definitely check those out. Honestly, I would prefer the DT over the Super Rares, Secret Forces, and Hidden Summoners, which are both reflecting about roughly around 5-ish bones. Let's take a look at the DT really quick. Now, of course, the super rares technically would be a higher rarity in the hierarchy of rarity, but dual tone is pretty special. It's always kind of outweighed the standard of the rarity hierarchy, and these looks really nice. Pretty pricey though. They start off at 10, and here's a 28 stack here from Big City, and they start out at almost about 11, 10, 39. And only 2 pages left of this. Some pretty good stacks. Here's a 9, 7, and 28, of course. So holding the line pretty much around 10. This is a really great version. Really quickly, let's just go and do a little investigation on the secret rares. I'm really curious now. So Hidden Summoners is a lot more new. It's a relatively new-ish set. I believe that set came out in like the end of 2018 or the beginning in 2019 or something. So let's check this out really quick. It looks like it's going to be roughly around 3 bones or so. This is another really great version of this card. I really do like super rare cards a lot. And this is going to be around 5. It's going to be roughly around 5. Pretty much, yeah, it's around 5 bones all across the board. And there's 4 pages left of that. Excuse me. And the Secret Forces, now I'm really curious if the Secret Forces super rare is going to be more expensive than the Hidden Summoners, which naturally it should, because Secret Forces is a lot older. Secret Forces is like, oh my, what, like 2016 or something? I can't even remember. It's relatively old now. Let's take a look at these. The first editions are going to be around the same price, around 5. So they're about 5 as well, for the first edition specifically. And there's 3 pages left of this. So this is another really great set. There's a lot of cheap Necross stuff, still probably to this day, that you can find. It's really great. Necross was the set that we donned Necross original in all its secret glory. So yeah, you have 2 super rare prints to pick from, and then you have the DT. So just wanted to showcase that really quick. Next is going to be some artwork specific cards. It's been a while since I reviewed this card. I'm a big fan of this card, Ghost Fairy Elphobia. This is a solo print super rare from Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. The artwork is just phenomenal on this card. As you guys probably know, a lot of my collector-based stuff is based off of age and rarity, but more so artwork. I'm really into artwork. This has fantastic artwork. Its effect would have been so much better if it didn't have this limitation of just until the end of the main phase 1. Like, what is that? That's like a garbage stipulation, but it's got really great artwork, and it's a solo print, so it doesn't look like it's getting a reprint anytime soon, at least not that I'm aware of. And there's some great stacks. This card is just insanely cheap. Like here's a 14 of for 49, and this is not. Now I admit this definitely hasn't increased as much as I anticipated. It definitely is one of these cards that you need to cook. It needs to build more value, and maybe in a couple years, maybe 2 years, 5 years, it'll dry up more on the market. But right now it's just not quite there. There's 5+ pages, but that's good for you guys. Good for you guys if you don't have it, because there's plenty of stacks available, and you can get it really cheap. It's about a half a bone here for the first stacks. And again, I really think that this could potentially work its way into the collector's market, being a solo print, being a old school super rare, and relatively old school super rare, and having amazing artwork. Next is going to be a card that kind of like goes off it. I never even knew about this card. I literally just discovered this card today. Mystical Fairy Alphyria. This again has another just fantastic artwork. This one is a secret rare, which is even more impressive. There is another version. I think it was either 2019. Yeah, I think it was 2019 Advent Calendar donned an ultra rare, but no one's really gonna care about this when you got the original OG first edition secret rares. The artwork is just fantastic. This is just again a cutesy anime, like walking through the forest, happy-go-lucky style stuff. She's got this magic pimp cane right here, and she's got some kind of mystical animal that she's talking to or giving some breadcrumbs to, and it's crazy. It's a crazy story. I switched over. I guess I switched over this to 3 stacks already, And ooh, okay, hold on. Let me just take this off really quick and see what we can find here. Okay, 5 pages left of this. No first editions on the first page. First edition we get is going to be roughly around 2 bones. It's a 1 of. Oh, and here's another one, 2, which is almost about 3. It's kind of interesting. And then it goes to about 3 again, and moving on to the third page. So yeah, it's like roughly around 3. And oh, here's a 3 stack. Here's a 3 for 3 right here from Super Games Inc. So let you guys kind of sit on that, figure out what you guys want to do with that. Again, I just think that this is an amazing rarity, secret rare. Go for the first editions. It's got fantastic artwork, and again, its effect is not super blowout by any means, but I just think it has potential to work its way eventually in the collector's market. Next, really quick, I just wanted to kind of turbo through Dual Power. Okay, so everyone bought the crap out of Dual Power, myself included, and it's finally starting to see some pretty good value. Of course, evenly matched and permanents have always hold great values. I talked about this yesterday. Nasher's holding about like a 14 price point. You got Ash Blossom rocking about 10. Brionic running about 6 or so. Even the ultra rare Galaxy Soldiers are going about 5-6. You have Sphere Mode, and then you got a plethora of other stuff, onesie twosies here, even the ultra clear Crystal Wing. And I'm not going to go too far into this. I just wanted to showcase the first kind of page here. That Dual Power is definitely getting to a point where it's seeing some pretty good value for the higher up cards, and for those that you invested into it. You definitely want to separate and pick some things out to sell, because especially for Nasher and I think Galaxy Soldier, those are probably going to be some of the MVPs for breaking out of this set, at least this day and age. Next is going to be Wave Motion Cannon. There is the Champion Pack 5 Super Rare, which is, it's a Champion Pack card, so it has a Champion Pack price tag. There is the original Magician's Force Common, which are very nice, the OG ones. If you guys want to go for first edition for sure. But what I thought was more interesting was Dual Devastator Dawned in Ultra Rare, which actually surprisingly looks like it would look very nice. Technically, it's the highest rarity as opposed to, rarity hierarchy being an ultra rare. Normally I don't really go for ultra rares, but it's really cheap, and this card is a really good burn card. There's a lot of cool things you can do with burn decks, and this is one of the best burn cards that we have now. My personal favorite burn card, when I play my burn decks, I basically use a Grand Mangia build with Macrocosmos and Banishers and DD Dynamite. And DD Dynamite, I think, is the best burn card that we've seen in a game like ever. I'm a huge fan of DD Dynamite, and I love doing like a removal / anti-meta / burn builds. But this is a really cool card too if you opt to go for a non-removal tactic in your burn deck. And this is like about a quarter bone pretty much all across the board. Here is a 20 stack right here. Not an issue getting this card. 5+ pages. Just wanted to showcase really quick because I think this is really cheap and really great. Next is going to be the Monarch's Stormforth. So I would have picked this up myself personally. The best, I guess, would be the first edition prints from Legendary Collection Kaiba. This is another amazing Legendary Collection set. Go check it out. There's a lot of high rarity stuff. Some pretty wild price points. But the thing is I'm waiting for a secret rare. I'm kind of like picky about that, I guess. I really am not impressed with any of these other ones. You got crap gold, you have commons, you have a super rare from Dark Saviors, which I don't know. This card's really good though. So taking a look at the ultra rares, if I was to get it, I guess I would go for this ultra rare version. But this card's really good. I think it eventually has potential to get a secret reprint, and I'm kind of foolishly waiting on that secret rare reprint. What's cool about this card is you don't have to tribute summon a Monarch card. Now, granted, this is a Monarch card, Monarch-based card, but you can use, you can tribute summon anything. And the diversity of that, a lot of people don't tribute anymore, but there's some really boss monsters out there that, you need a tribute for. Plus, it's a quick play, which just brings great diversity to this card, and it's just a really good card because there's a lot of boss monsters like what's the the vanities cards that are basically like stop your opponent from like using effects and special summoning, or Vanity's Fiend, and like Majesty's Fiend, or I can't remember. But anyway, all those cards, some of the most legendary one tribute, kind of floodgate on legs monsters. So I think this is really great. It's like about $1 pretty much across the board. So you guys can do whatever you will with that. 5 pages left of that. I'm personally waiting for a better rarity, but it's a good card. Next is going to be Test Panther. So really quick, the last kind of thing I just wanted to review here is I was online today and I got my ass beat by some Glad Beasts, and it really reminded me how much I love Gladiator Beasts. I'm personally building a max rarity, Glad Beast deck for quite a while. I had forgotten Chaos Impact saw a lot of new support that I don't even really remember people talking about. Everyone kind of pushed to the side, or maybe I was just living under a rock. I didn't really notice, but this archetype got amazing support in Chaos Impact. Test Panther is super cheap. This is a solo print ultra rare. This link card is amazing. Has great artwork. Has 2 killer effects. And it's a link 2, so it's super easy to bust out. And we got all this other plethora of support from Chaos Impact. This card's super cheap. It's like $1 if that, and there's plenty of stacks to go around. 3 pages, so that's super easy. Then of course we have all the OG ones here, and this is just a really fun deck. I really love the mechanics behind this deck. I really like the tag out and all that. Use one to shuffle one back and bust out another one, and it's really cool. It's a really fun deck. Legendary Collection 2 saw a lot of secret rarity rarity upgrades, a couple old school alternate rares here. And Chariot is just a really awesome beast counter trap card. I love when deck cores have their own specific counter trap cards as kind of like a defense tactic / kind of negate your done style. And I think this deck needs to really just be appreciated. I mean, I might just be a little biased because I really like this deck a lot. One of my really good friends, when I came back into the game back in I think it was 2011. He based his whole YouTube channel off of Gladiator Beast. He called himself Mr. Glad Beast, and I'm pretty excited. I'm actually on my way to be going to Conroe, Texas tomorrow. I'm moving from El Paso, Texas to Conroe, Texas, and he's back over there with his family now, so I'm really hoping that I can spend some time to kind of like reconnect with him. And every time I look at these cards, it reminds me of him. He's a really good guy, so I'm excited to be close to him again. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. Gladiator Beasts, awesome deck. Check it out if you guys want to. It's some pretty good stuff. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Please stay safe out there. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.